Good evening, friends. Today we are going to see the sixth chapter, Major Landforms on the Earth. So, before moving towards the chapter, let us discuss the yesterday's question. So, yesterday I had given you a question regarding lithosphere and its different parts. So, lithosphere that we have seen is a solid part of the Earth. It's the uppermost part of the Earth. So there are so many subparts of the earth, but we are not going into much detail because it's a sixth standard NCRT. So the parts of the lithosphere that we have seen in yesterday's chapter were continents and ocean basins. So what are the continents? So continents are the visible portion of the land above the sea or above the water, or we can say huge landmass or huge landmass when they are separated by the vast expanses of the ocean, we can call them as a continents. Then, ocean water is resting upon a certain base. That base is nothing but oceanic base. So, this oceanic base is a different than the continent in terms of its thickness, in terms of the type of lava it is made up of, in terms of its density. So, this chapter will come into the detail in the oceanography. So two parts are there. First one is continent, another is oceanic basin. So these things that we have seen yesterday, most of you have written the answers. So this in these parts you can connect them with the current affairs. You can write the importance of this part according to your knowledge. Not necessary that whatever I am teaching in sixth standard NCRT only that thing you should write. If you know more, you can write that. Okay. So like for example, you know the importance of oceanic basins or different parts of oceanic basins. You can write about importance of continents and how continents are useful, how oceanic basins are useful. These things you can write. Or if you know something currently what is happening in the current news, you can connect it with that. So I hope you guys have understood the yesterday's chapter. So today we are going to see the next chapter, that is different landforms of the earth. So let us move towards that chapter. So when we say major landforms, so what are those major landforms? So major landforms are nothing but you have mountains, you have rivers, you have valleys, you have glaciers. So landforms are of different types. So detailed chapter will be there as we move further in the NCRTs. So let us understand certain basic landforms which are given in your sixth standard NCRTs. It's a very small and sweet chapter. Okay. So before understanding the landform, let us understand the reason behind the formation of the land. So the reason behind the formation of the landform are the processes. So the processes which are going on inside the earth and processes which are going on the surface of the earth, they are responsible for the formation of the various landforms. So inside the earth, what are the processes are going on? We call them as internal processes. These internal processes, because of these internal processes, what happens? Earth's surface keep on shifting in particular direction, and this gives rise to the formation of mountains, formation of valleys. So these type of landforms are known as internal landforms formed because of internal processes. Then next type of process is called as external process. Now external process means what? External process means this force of wind, heating because of the sunlight, and flowing water. These are acting upon the various landform like mountain and so many other landforms it is acting upon. So it is creating a kind of erosion in these already formed processes. So these processes are known as external processes. So they continuously wearing down this already formed landform. So internal processes are responsible for the creation of landform. Yes, external processes gives the particular shape to the landform. Also, they create new landforms. Okay. So, for example, a big mountain like Himalaya has been formed. Himalaya has been formed because of the internal processes that we know because of two plates are meeting with each other. That's why Himalayas are being formed. Now, once Himalaya is being formed, now external processes like flowing water of the river from the Himalayas blowing wind, heat from the sun, it will wear and tear this Himalayan mountain and its height will be reduced. Or a different type of shapes will be formed in the Himalayan mountains. So the first process, formation of the Himalayas, is known as internal process. Second process, formation of various other features on the surface of Himalaya is known as external process. And this second process is known as erosion. So these are the two different processes. Okay. So now let us understand few important landforms given in your NCERT. So NCERT talks about the three types of basic landforms. Either a mountain is being formed, or a plateau is being formed, or a plain is being formed because of internal and external processes. In reality, there are so many landforms will be formed. Like actually, we are going to learn around 100 landforms. When I will come to teach you there uh, offline teaching, we'll see these 100 landforms. So there are different landforms which are being formed. So there are three basic landforms which we can say are formed because of the internal and external processes. And these landforms are mountains, plateaus, and plains. You guys have seen this sometime or other in your life. So let us understand these landforms in little bit of detail. First is mountains. So on the screen you can see at one side I have given you a hill and another side there is a mountain. So there is a small difference between mountain and hill, and that difference is based upon the height. So if you find out a particular elevation which is only up to 600 meters, then we don't call it as a mountain. Okay, we call it as a hill. So 600 meter, call it as a hill. But something is rising beyond the 600 meter, then we'll call it as a mountain. So this question can be asked in the prelims. So more than 600 meter, if any elevation is there from the sea level, we are calling it as a mountain. Second difference is that mountain has a very narrow summit or it has a peak, but hills don't have peak. So in this picture you can see that hill, it does not have a peak. It is almost a parabolic shape, or it is almost sometimes flat. Okay, his mountain you have a peak. Okay, it's a narrow summit. Peak is also called as a summit. Okay, so second difference is hills don't have peaks, mountain have peaks or summits. So mountains also have broad base. So on the base you can see mountains are very broad over here. Huge broad base you have. Hills you don't have much broader base, a small base is there. So this is the third difference. Mountains have broad base, hills have smaller base. In mountains, if you keep n number of mountains in the line, for example, 5 to 6 mountains, you keep them in the line, then you will call it as a mountain range. So ranges of the mountain. If you have multiple ranges parallel to each other, you will call it as a mountain chain. So there are different terminologies that you will be introduced. So in this chapter, in this particular book, only these terminologies have been given. So first is the difference between hill and mountain, very important. Height you should be remembered, that is 600 meters. Then mountain have a peak, mountain have a broad base. Sometimes on the mountains you have a glaciers, like Himalaya. You have so many glaciers, Gangotri, Yamunotri, Bandarpuj glacier, so many glaciers you have. So these glaciers are generally the sources of the rivers. Mountains have huge forest, hills also have forest. So example of mountain, there are, you guys know Himalaya, you guys know Western Ghat, and there are Andes, there are Rockies, that also we have seen. So based on that, we can classify mountain into three types. So which are these three types? So for example, mountain like Himalaya, it is a fold mountain. Now what is a fold mountain, what is a block mountain, that we are going to see in detail, not now. So fold mountain is formed because of the folding process. Second type of mountain is a block mountain or fault mountain. So this is different from the fold mountain in the sense that it has formed because of the faulting of particular plate. When particular plate faults or breaks down and adjustment happens in that plate, then block mountain forms. And third mountain is known as volcanic mountain. So volcanic mountain is formed because of the volcanic activity. So we are familiar with the volcanic activities. So these are the three types of mountains which are formed all over the world. There is no fourth type of mountain. Only three types of mountain. Okay. So here Himalayas, we know it's a fold mountain. Western Ghat is a block mountain, and there are some small hills or mountains in the Andaman Nicobar region. They are volcanic mountains. Also, Trans-Himalayan ranges are partially volcanic mountains. So that things we are going to see in detail in next chapters. Okay. So if, like we have seen, the fold mountains is formed because of the folding of the consolidated deposits. Fault mountains are formed because of the breakage of the plate. So particular area is broken. For example, one plate was there, it got broken from the center. Now this broken part, it has a two options. Either this broken part will be going down, or it will be pressed down, or it will be pressed upwards, or it will be pulled upwards. So two options are there. Either this broken part is pressed downward, or it is pulled upwards. If it is pulled upward, then that thing is known as a horst. Like Western Ghat, it is a horst. Or if it is a pull downward, then that is known as a graben or valley. So this is a swift adjustment which happens, and you are calling them as a horst or graben. So Rhine Valley in the Germany is an example of graben, and Vosges Mountain again in the Europe, they are the example of horst, horst or host. So these are the difference between horst and graben. So block mountain, how it is formed in brief, that we have seen. Fold mountain, how it is formed, that also we have seen. Third one is volcanic mountain. So how it is going to form in detail, that we are going to see, but it just formed because of the huge amount of volcano which cools down, and certain amount of elevation, peaks and summits are formed. We are calling them as a volcanic mountains. So there are very huge volcanic mountains. So Mount Fuji in the Japan is very huge mountain. As you guys know, Japan, so many, actually daily 4 or 5 volcanoes happen in the Japan. People don't even care about volcanoes in the Japan. Sometimes these people are sleeping, and next day they get up, they see new island in front of their house, okay, in the sea, just because of the volcanic activity. So Japan has so many amount of volcanoes. Okay, so Mount Fujiyama is one of the volcano in the Japan. In Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro is also one of the very huge volcano. Mauna Kea, you might have heard the summit. So Kilimanjaro, Mauna Kea, these are the example of the volcanic mountain in the Africa. So these are the three types of mountains that we have seen. These are, first is, yes, fold mountain, fault mountain or block mountain, and third one is a volcanic mountain. Now, the technicalities of the mountain that we have seen, what are the usages of these mountains, or what are the benefits of these mountains? So first of all, first benefit is we get fresh water from these mountains. They are the source of glaciers, and glaciers are the sources of river. So we are getting fresh water. Second thing is we can produce hydroelectricity from that. We are using that for irrigation purpose. Third thing is they can act as a defense for the particular country, particular area. Then it has a huge vegetation. They affect the climate because of the mountain. We have a rainfall because of the mountain. Mountain are the sources of economic activities. For example, many minerals are found on the mountain. Then mountain are the source of, let us say, fuel for the people living in the surrounding area. So they collect the wood, and sometimes they collect uh, things like honey, lac, okay, then important herbs, timber. They are all collected from the mountains. Then mountain, they preserve the biodiversity in the country. Getting it? Any country, they preserve the biodiversity because they are rich in flora and fauna. Then mountains, they are very important for tourist activity. Like we know, we love to go to the mountain for trekking or some other purposes. We go to the mountain for the tourism activities. So they are very idealistic site for the tourist. And some mountains are very famous for the various sports. Like if you go to the Himalayas, you go to the Sonmarg, Gulmarg, you say ice skiing or ice skating is very famous over there. River rafting, Haridwar, you go these mountains. River rafting is very famous. Then paragliding, us if you come to the Western Ghats, they are very famous for the paragliding. Then certain mountains are important for bungee jumping and all. So they have various importance in terms of recreational activities or tourism activities. So I hope you guys have understood. It's very simple chapter. Next subtopic under this chapter is a plateau. Difference between mountain and hill and plateau is that plateau has a very flat surface, or we can call it as a tableland. It is elevated compared to surrounding land, but on the top it is flat. It does not have summit. So it is an elevated flat land. We can call it as an elevated flat land or plateau. So plateau sides, they have steep slopes like hill or mountain, but on the top it is flat. Okay. So if we see, Tibetan plateau is very close to India, and it is world's highest plateau. World's highest plateau, and in terms of plateau, you can say it's the highest battleground also. So Tibetan plateau is 4,000 to 6,000 meter heights from the sea level. It's very important. In Africa also you have famous plateaus. So these plateaus are very important as they are very mineral rich plateaus. Tibet is also mineral rich. African plateaus also you'll see diamond and gold you'll see. India also we have Chota Nagpur plateau. You have heard about Chota Nagpur plateau. Chota Nagpur plateau is huge, is filled with huge mineral resources. You will find coal, even you will find uranium, Jaduguda coal mines, you will find uranium and so many other important gold reserves and some other resources you will find on the Chota Nagpur plateau. So these plateaus are very important. Some important river sources are there on the plateau. Okay, so these river sources are there. Sometimes there are waterfalls are there. So Chota Nagpur plateau is famous for the Subarna Rekha river, or Subarna Rekha was one time very famous for the gold reserves. So here you have Hundru Falls or Hundru Ghag. You'll see Hundru Falls or Hundru Ghag in the Subarna Rekha or on the Chota Nagpur plateau. Also, Jog Falls are there on the Sharavati river in the Karnataka. So they are very important. Another, the plateau that we are living upon, even people in the Hyderabad or people in the Maharashtra, they are living Karnataka, they are living on the Deccan Plateau. So Deccan Plateau is made up of basaltic lava. So it is very famous for the black soil. So they are the source of black soil, which is very uh, famous for the cultivation of cotton and some other crops. So this was about the plateau. Third important landform is plain. What are the plains? Plains, they don't have elevations like hills or like plateaus. Their elevation is restricted up to 200 meters. Max to max, they will be elevated up to 200 meters. Okay, so they are not more than 200 meters. If they rise beyond 200 meters, we'll call it as a plateau. So they are always below 200 meters. So they are vast expanses of land, flat land, we can call it as a flat land, okay, not rising beyond 200 meters. So here, so many rivers are coming on the plains, their speed get reduced. So when rivers and their tributaries, their speed get reduced, they spill out so many deposits they have brought from the mountainous region, and they help creating more and more area for the plains. So generally, most of the plains have been created by the rivers, but there are certain plains which have been created by the uh, tectonic activities. But most of the plains are created because of the activities or depositions of the rivers. So plains are very important from from the point of view of settlements, because with all the civilizations have been developed in the plains. On the mountain, no huge civilizations have been developed. Only tribes you will find on the mountain. But on the plain, you will have important civilizations that are being developed on the plains, like Indo-Gangetic plain. So here, Punjab, Pakistan, India, they are all developed in the Indo-Gangetic plain. So huge civilizations have been developed. So it is very easy to live on the plain because terrain is flat. You can construct the road, you can construct the highways. So land is also very fertile because of the river is bringing huge amount of sediments. So it is giving, it is producing the various diverse crop. So it is supporting the huge amount of people living in that area. So plains generally have this thickly populated regions. Okay, so even ancient civilization, Magadhas and all, they are developed in the plain. Okay, so Indo-Gangetic plain is an example of a plain in case of India. So this is all about this chapter, very simple and small chapter, uh, very easy to understand. There are so many details about these mountains, plateaus, plains, and types of landforms that we are going to see in the upcoming chapters. So based on this chapter, we have MCQs. So first question is, the mountains differ from hills in terms of what? We have seen it. Glaciers are found in which of the following? Very simple. Third, the Deccan Plateau is located in which of the following country? Now, even no need to go for 6th standard NCERT, even first standard child also will tell the answer. The river Yangtze flows in which country? We know this. The important mountain range of Europe? Yes, that is also we have seen. Now there you have some fill in the blanks which we can consider as an MCQ. So dash dash is an unbroken flat or lowland. Yes, you guys know it. Himalayas and Alps are an example of what types of mountain? That is also we have seen. Dash dash areas are rich in the mineral deposits. That is also we have seen. And the dash dash is a line of mountains. That is also we have seen. And the last one, the dash are the most productive areas for the farming. That is also we have seen. So very, very simple. I hope you guys will answer these questions, and you have doubt, please ask me on the social media. So see you in the next chapter. Thank you.